Hello and welcome to the Who Corner. Very nice to have your company today on the show. Today we shall be taking a look at arachnids in the UK, and talking about arachnids, there's one here. Lovely. Put you away, arachnid, in the UK. Anyway, all crap comedy aside, you've got lots of that in store today. This is a weekly review show. Today it's week 4. As I say, I'll be running down my thoughts of arachnids in the UK, and we're going to have Who Will Help. Once again, we're going to have some games, and we're going to have a look at next week's story, the Tsuranga Conundrum. So, please sit down and brace yourself for the next half hour of the Who Corner. What is that? Happy Halloween. Now, on the Who Corner, we review arachnids in the UK, and we see those said arachnids all around us, infesting everywhere. And it is true, there are many spiders here. There. We are guaranteed more. What did Lewis Moon think of arachnids in the UK? In all seriousness now. Okay, arachnids in the UK. You may know I really liked Rosa last week on the Who Corner. If you want to know what I thought in depth, please go back and watch that episode. I really liked Rosa. I thought it was a really moving and memorable episode. Arachnids in the UK. I can't say I'm disappointed by it, because I didn't go in with any hopes, high hopes. I went in with very modest hopes, so I didn't come out being disappointed, because I knew it wouldn't be as good as Rosa, and I knew it wouldn't... Let's re-say that. I knew it wouldn't be as good as Rosa, but I was hoping for something that would prove Chris Chibnall as a good writer. So far, he's only given us mediocre stories. Well, Stephen Moffat, who I do miss, by the way, I do miss him. Stephen Moffat delivered for his first sort of few stories. He did some stories before he became showrunner. They were all excellent, and the first few stories he did for the for showrunners were all pretty good. But Chris Chibnall still hasn't proven himself yet. Woman Who Fell to Earth was last week's was written by Mallory Blackman and Core, so I can't count that as a Chris Chibnall story. Woman Who Fell to Earth is probably his best story, but even that, if you took it out of the context of the opener, the reason why it is my favourite story of Chibnall's is because it's the opener, and it did well at introducing us to the new series. It's just, if it wasn't the opener, it had a weak story, a weak villain, and a weak resolution. So, you know, again, I'll say the same thing. Weak story, weak threat, weak resolution for this story. I'll say there's a lot I really liked. I really liked the scenes with Graham. Graham's proving to be really great so far. I really liked the scenes with Graham and Grace, the ghost of Grace, and I think they were really well handled. The scenes involving Graham and his mourning and his grief. I think what Chibnall's best at is building those characters, and I think he's doing a really good job at building them. But the only one of the TARDIS team, I like Jodie's Doctor. She's no Peter Capaldi, I'll say that. She's no Tom Baker, for me at least. It depends what you want in your Doctor, whether you want a darker or a lighter approach. But I think Jodie is very similar to Doctors of the past. I think that's how they've written her, and I think she has been quite a success with most. But I think they're relying on the popularity of the Doctors, which she's basically got the same personalities as, for Jodie to be a success. But I'm overall liking her, and Whittaker's performance. I think it looked, again, it took advantage of its setting, how it looked. I thought Sheffield was presented really well. And like in episode 1, they made it as visually stunning as Sheffield could look. I thought the sort of shot with where we go through the time vortex, it's quite rambunctious, but at the same time it's really well done, and it's quite a cinematic shot, and there's lots of sort of shots which fade into the next scene, which are really cleverly done. I hated the resolution. I thought it was really rushed. I think the spiders just went away. Chris Noth just went away. Chris Noth's character wasn't very good. Judging by he's quite a big star, and they were sort of promoting him. Sort of he's a big star over in the US, I think. His character was poor, really, and on the same side, that's not. I don't blame the actors for this. I do blame the writing. So the other thing is Dr. Jade McIntyre. She was pointless. She didn't need to be there. They could have all the scenes that she was in. I think they could have got away with just having her not in it. Shobna Gulati's the only one of Nahia, or whatever she was called, is the only notable member of Yaz's family. The other two are just pointless, they're just there. I hated the grime scene. I thought that was really embarrassing and really cringeworthy. I thought at points it was too sort of emotionally centred in terms of it focused too much on the emotions of the characters and the real life events and the down-to-earthness of the characters. And sometimes that interfered with the story, particularly in the opening part, and then when we got to the resolution it was rushed. I liked the ending scene. I think this is hard to say. Diversity is a good thing, but I think it's a bit forced, the diversity for this series. I think there's sort of everything you can think of, really, in some respects, in this series, and I noticed that at points in this episode, and I'm not saying diversity is a bad thing, and I'm not being... I don't want to be offensive towards people. I think the diversity's too forced this series. I think, as I say, diversity is a good thing, but I think they've purposely just put loads and loads and loads of diversity in this series, and a bit too much of it probably. But that's just what I think. Yeah, so overall, probably the weakest episode of the series so far. It had quite a lot of things I can pick apart about it, and I'm going to rewatch it. And as I say every week, please tune in to my podcast at Dr. Time and Space at Podomatic. Dr. Cool is my co-host on that, so you'll get to see what he thinks, as well as my extended thoughts after a rewatch. If you could please tune into that at Podomatic at Dr. Time and Space, that'd be great. I'm going to eat an Oreo, a golden Oreo to be precise, but now we're going to see what's going on in Who Will Help. GoBot, have you started recording? GoBot, GoBot, hello. You may not be used to seeing me on these sort of infomercials, but I'm here today because Lewis Moon, the host of the show, of this sort of infomercial, he shot himself in the last week's infomercial, so I'm here. Do you know what we are? We are Who Will Help. We will, that's what, know who. Yeah, see, I've got used to the catchphrase. Have you? Probably not, because you probably don't know the catchphrase, but, I'm just here to answer people's who requests. I thought I'd end the legal dispute here, and, wait, I hear we've got another call. Yes, hello, Who Will Help, isn't it? I'm the host of the show and of the infomercial, whatever you can call it. I mean, Gilbert, he decided it would be a good idea to record our phone-ins. We don't get too many. I mean, there's quite a few Who fans, but not many of them seem to have problems, or if they do, they don't seem to phone into us. Anyway, tangents aside, I was wondering whether you could maybe give me my job back, because I'm not dead. I'll make a deal with you. Look, you see, I've had a legal dispute for you for quite a while, and I was just thinking, maybe if you let me host this show from now on, then maybe, just maybe, I'll be able to end the dispute, just for this episode. Is that an agreement for you? I mean, I think it would be a way to sort of give me my retribution, if you like. You see, this eye, it went out because of what happened the other week. So, Mr. Lewis Moon, or whatever you're called, I don't really care. But, whether you're dead or not, I want this episode, and you are not getting it back. Do you understand? Unless you're willing to force me to give it back to you. Are you? Are you? You're not answering, are you? Can you answer, please? Oh, he's gone off the phone. He's gone off the phone. Can we call him back, please? Peter, I was just leaving. I'm tired. I've had a busy day. I just want to get to sleep. I mean, you thought I was sleeping eternally. You thought I was dead. But, you know, I'm not dead. Hi, that is not a sick joke or anything. I just had to do it to escape the wrath of the Ood, because otherwise it would come after me. Wait a second. He's not dead. He was playing me in his little game all along as a pawn. Actually, no. Maybe not the correct wording. He was playing a game and placed me in it with his pawn. Yes, no, that's not right. He was playing a game and he placed me in it like I was a... We'll give up on that one. I'm coming after you, host, whoever you are. Every week we go over to the Who meter to see where the episode ranks among all of the others of the series for myself. I really don't want to get out of this seat. It's really comfortable. But please, we're going to go over to the Who corner with my John Pertwee mug. And this week, we're going to choose out this pen, because it's the only pen out of them that works. Let's go over there. So here is the Who corner. You probably can't see it very well, but what we have over here, we have the episode. So we have episodes 1 to 10 and then the Christmas special. And then up here we have rating them out of 10. We have the performance scales for Jodie, Bradley, Mandeep and Tosin. So this week I'll go over to this bit first. So the episode 4. Episode 1 has an 8, episode 2 has a 6.5, and no, episode 1 has a 7.5, sorry. Episode 2 has a 6.5, and episode 3 has an 8. This week's episode, I'm going to go with a 6. It was pretty mediocre, as a whole. There's so much I can pick apart, but there's quite a lot as well that I really liked in this week's episode. And it wasn't by any means a bad episode of Doctor Who. It was just very mediocre and very flawed. So far, Series 11's looking okay. It's not a brilliant series by any means. Rose is the only sort of above average episode for me. But so far it's a pretty enjoyable one, but a very, very flawed series so far. Out of 10 then, Jodie Whittaker, I'm going to give her a 7 this week. I really like Jodie, but this week's was probably her weakest performance so far. Episode Bradley Walsh, I'm gonna give him what do I give him? I'll give him an 8 because he was great. Mandeep Gill, I'll give her a 7. Tosin Cole, no, I'll give them both a 6. I'll give Mandeep and Tosin a 6 because I'm not really a big fan of their characters so far. Bradley Walsh is our performer of the week once again, second week in a row. Yeah, Bradley's doing very well. Jodie's doing very well. Everyone's doing very well. But the series itself is doing quite good. So, I think we should go over to do some games with myself. Thank you there, Studio Lewis Moon. Hello there. Hopefully, because I'm from the past, he's still not infected with a cold like I am currently. Anyway, so, I thought I'd come here from a different time period to give you a little bit of a game. Last week we played a game. I have no idea whether it was successful or not because, well, I'm from the past. I have no idea. Hopefully you enjoyed it anyway, but if you didn't, we're playing it again. So what we did, we had 5 episodes of Doctor Who. And you had to guess whether it was higher or lower, it came before or after the other episode. So today we've got something a bit different. We're going to be doing companions, higher or lower, in Doctor Who. I thought I'd give 2 weeks for each Doctor Who related game. So this week... and last week is higher or lower on the Who Corner, and then next week we will have something a bit different for week 5. So, striving through this. Okay, so first up we have, if you've never watched classic Doctor Who, or you haven't watched any Doctor Who beforehand, if you're a new fan with Series 11, then please just give it a guess. Write it down on a piece of paper or whatever, or your mind. And then comment with your score at the end. First up is Vizsla Turlough. But did Jo Grant come before or after Vizsla Turlough? Okay. Next up, we have Clara Oswald, but did Clara Oswald come before or after Jo Grant? Then we have Ian Chesterton, but did Ian Chesterton come before or after Clara Oswald? Then one last one, we have Melanie Bush. But did Melanie Bush come before or after Ian Chesterton? So then we have our 5. So first one was Vizsla Turlough or Jo Grant. Well, Jo Grant came before Vizsla Turlough. Clara Oswald came after Jo Grant. Ian Chesterton came before Clara Oswald. And Melanie Bush came after Ian Chesterton. So, sorry for my cold stuff. You won't be infected, you're safe. Hopefully Lewis Moon isn't still infected in the studio. Hello, Lewis. He can't hear me. He's probably gone off on some sort of coffee break or something. Anyway, yes, so that was before, after. So, couple of bonus well, we know what connects them, they're all companions. The bonus question today is, which one was the first companion which one was the first male companion in Doctor Who history? Was it Vizsla Turlough, Jo Grant, Clara Oswald, Ian Chesterton, or Melanie Bush? Obviously, there's a few of those it can't be. But which was the first male companion to board the TARDIS? So, thank you so much for playing today. Please leave your answer below. And we're going to hand over back to Lewis Moon in the studio. So then, let's go over to see the Who Will Help gang for the second outing this week, the continued part of this week's story. No, I'm not Sheena Easton. Can't you tell from my voice? I'm not... No? Okay, bye. As if nothing ever is gonna happen in my life that's exciting. Nothing, ever. Not even someone trying to come and kill me or something. I'm going to go and kill that host. I'm going to go and kill that host. Anyway, I thought, as I've been fired from the Who Will Help office because I faked my death, I thought I'd do a new series of YouTube videos from myself where I discussed some of the weaponry which I brought in shops, including guns, swords, and other things which can hurt people. This is a robotic hand. Yes, it is fake. But I would be lying if I said that. It is real. If it touches someone that is not yourself, it can kill them, and I mean immediately, even if you throw it at someone. Look. I'm going to go and kill that Lewis. What is that? Oh my god, what is that? Anyway, I'm here to help you with your Doctor Who related problems. We are Who Will Help. We will, that's what, no who. Yes, we will. Anyway, could you sort out the camera, please, Gilbert? It's not working properly. Anyway, here we are to solve your Doctor Who related... Oh my god, what is that? So then, next week, Doctor Who's back once again, BBC One, 7 PM, with episode 5 of the new series, The Halfway Point. And it's the Tsuranga Conundrum, it's called. It's going to be the Doctor and her companions have obviously, they've now become Team TARDIS, and they get incarcerated, and they end up in a hospital with loads of people, strange patients. The guest cast, there's Lewis Chizimba, Ben Bailey Smith, and various other people who I can't remember their names. I have no idea who those two people are, but I just remembered their names. So, the episode is, it's written by Chris Chibnall again. It's directed by Jennifer Perrott. And obviously it's one of the... How this series is formatted, it's formatted with a present-day story set in Sheffield or wherever episodes 7 and 10 will be set. I'm guessing they're both going to be set in Sheffield, but we have no idea about either episode 7 or the series finale, but I'm guessing they're going to be present day. It's... Episode 5 is... It's Chris Chibnall again, as I say, so I am going in with modest hopes, because I know with Chris Chibnall, sometimes, however promising these stories may look, they end up being pretty mediocre and bland. This one actually looks quite good. It could potentially be Chris Chibnall's best story yet. But it depends... It really depends on how good it is. I'm hoping for Chibnall to deliver a solid story, because as of yet he hasn't delivered a solid story in and out of his showrunner reign. I really want him to deliver a story that's actually quite good, and not so flawed. I'm sure it will be very flawed, I'm sure there's a lot we can point out, but I don't think I hope we get an outing which isn't so flawed and is a bit better. But even Rosa, which I personally like, was very flawed. I think quite a lot of the stories in the Stephen Moffat era are very flawed too, so Doctor Who's not been perfect. For me, Doctor Who's not been sort of a perfect sort of run every single episode since the Tom Baker era in the 70s. I'm going in with modest hopes, but please go in with modest hopes as well. What did you think of Arachnids in the UK? Please leave your thoughts in the comments section below. I'd love to hear what you think of the story, and all that. So next week we'll be back once again, as usual, with the Who Corner on the Tsuranga Conundrum. So we shall be reviewing the Tsuranga Conundrum. We shall be having another Who Will Help outing. We shall be having another little games section. We'll have an interactive game again next week. And we will be doing, we'll be giving you a preview for Demons of the Punjab, which is episode 6. And I must say, the titles for all of these stories, Arachnids in the UK, Tsuranga Conundrum, and Demons of the Punjab, are terrible. But hopefully the next 2 episodes can deliver, but we'll see what I think next week on the show. Please like and subscribe and ring the bell for more notifications, and I will see you next time. Same space. Goodbye. Oh, and I forgot to mention, happy Halloween. Ah, spiders! And I forgot to mention, happy Halloween, everybody. I often knock on people's doors and say trick or treat at this time of year. However, there's one thing I always wonder, and that's, do I prefer the tricks or the treats? And trust me, I do like the tricks, throwing these little bugs and vermin all over the place. However, I think the one thing I do prefer than tricking is a treat, and a golden Oreo is a treat. Open it up and eat it. Golden Oreos, the only treats for trick or treats.